This is totally useless information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
And today we will share some science stuff.
Travel the globe with geography.
And everyone's favorite, and I mean everyone's favorite, sex.
Ooh, and dreams. And we'll open up the mailbag.
Totally useless information. It's everything you never needed to know.
Einstein was a moron. Newton was a jerk. E equals nothing. It's science, science, science.
A year on Mercury, the planet of Mercury, lasts only 88 days. That's due to its slow rotation, so a day lasts twice as long on Mercury. That means if you could stand on the surface of Mercury, it would take you 176 Earth days for the sun to rise and set and rise again to the same place in the sky just once.
That's what Mercury has in common with marriage. 1 year feels like 20.
So then you're married like 72 years then.
Yes. And loving every minute of it, honey. You heard that? Okay. We think of Earth as a perfect sphere, like a little round marble, blue marble. But in reality, because Earth has two poles, one on the north and one, of course, on the south pole, they oppose each other with gravity and they pull, but they don't actually pull. They more or less push towards the center. So the equator kind of gets bulged out. So it's not round, but kind of round, but bulgy at the center, kind of like me.
After so many years of marriage, of course. Surgeons who play video games for at least 3 hours a week make less mistakes. According to some research, they found that doctors made 37% less mistakes in laparoscopic surgery and performed the task 20% faster than their counterparts who did not play video games. According to Dr. Butch Rosser at Beth Israel Medical Center, that's his name, Dr. James Butch Rosser, he said, I use the same hand-eye coordination to play video games as I use for surgery. What I want to know is, did they start out by playing the game Operation?
Yeah, exactly. And then somebody's like, well, I went for a kidney surgery. Everything went great, but now I have this controller stuck inside of me. And I keep hearing...
Yeah, and now everyone refers to me as Mario.
Mario, how old is the Earth? Well, researchers calculate by dating some of the oldest rocks and meteorites that the Earth is approximately 4.54 billion years old. Okay, by the way, Nick, the oldest rock to date are found in Canada, and they're in the Hudson Bay in Quebec. They are the oldest rocks that they have dated so far on Earth.
Yeah, I've dated a lot of old rocks in my day.
Yeah. Some of them were so big they seemed to roll.
Holding the hand of a loved one to comfort them really helps reduce pain. Dr. Pavel Goldstein, a postdoctoral pain researcher at the University of Boulder, Colorado, he conducted this research. His team found that when an empathetic partner holds the hand of a woman in pain, for example, their heart and respiratory rates sink and her pain dissipates. The more empathetic the partner is, the stronger the analgesic effect and the higher the synchronization between the two when they're touching. Researchers examined 22 couples as part of the study into interpersonal synchronization, where individuals began to physiologically mirror the people that they were with, including their footsteps. That's how amazing that is.
Yeah. So $12 trillion a year in medical research. And what do we have? Doctors telling us, hold hands and skip down the street.
In that order. Yeah.
Wow. Yes, we have earthquakes on Earth. But did you know that the moon has moonquakes?
No.
Yes. The moon is not as dead as it looks. Because of the tidal forces of the earth, when the tides are pushing and pulling, sometimes it shifts the crust of the moon and creates moonquakes. Okay? The same thing happens with my pants after I eat broccoli.
Yeah, and how many craters do you develop after a certain period of time? I don't want to know.
There's a lot of patches on those pants. But go ahead.
You burn more calories sleeping than watching TV. There are many, many ways of burning calories, like laughing, kissing, drinking, and even chewing gum. But in terms of total body rest, it's proven that when you are asleep, you actually burn calories. The average person burns around 77 calories an hour while sleeping. While watching TV, it's about 220 calories for the whole session of sitting down and watching TV. So, for example, if you sleep an average of 5 or 6 hours, that's at least 350 to 375 or more calories just from sleeping. And, of course, it depends on your basal metabolic rate and the minimum rate at which your body burns calories when at rest. And that's usually when you're sleeping.
It also depends on what you're watching. For me, if I'm watching like Project Runway and Heidi Klum gets on the screen, it does it for me. I burn about 700 calories immediately.
And your blood pressure goes
I go
up.
completely anaerobic.
Yeah. I just dropped my mic on that one. I got all excited.
Nick was like, drop the mic.
Heidi Klum.
Okay, so I spoke about moonquakes and quakes in my pants. But let's get back to the earth. When you think of earthquakes, where do you think of when somebody says earthquakes? Nick?
Los Angeles.
Yes, California. Everybody does. San Andreas Fault. Well, think again. No, don't hurt yourself, Nick. Think again.
What's that smoke coming out of the...
Get ready for this one. The largest known earthquake was March 2016 in Prince William Sound, Alaska. It was a 9.2 magnitude quake.
Whoa, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah. And some of the polar bears that were interviewed, no. They were all drinking Coke.
They are amazing. You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy.
Throw away your totally useless GPS. It's time for geography. So get lost with Nick and Roy.
We truly are a global podcast. Our show goes around the world. We include and welcome listeners from Tel Aviv, from the United Kingdom, of course, and in Oakville, Ontario, Canada.
You know what's funny? We started a few of the subjects like sex, geography, fashion. They were written in to us by email with people, with our audience members who asked us to do things. But geography is really special for us because me and Nick are every week we're just amazed. Nick and I, excuse me, we're amazed at the different places, and we do actually speak to each other during the week and go, "Can you believe, Zimbabwe? Can you believe, places in India and Russia?"
Imagine that.
Cuba is the only Caribbean country that has a railway system. Okay, they're the only Caribbean country that has a train system. Now, they have no toilet paper or money, but plenty of cigars and choo-choo trains. I mean, what the hell do they have a train for?
Well, you would think they would transport toilet paper and other things, other necessities, you would think.
No toilet paper.
No, it's okay. No. Well, you can always use the tobacco leaves when in a pinch.
That's why there's very little handshaking going on in Cuba.
They were practicing social distancing. It has nothing to do with the pandemic. There's a place in England.
Folks, what do you think makes those Cuban cigars taste so good? Oh, my God.
Wow.
I don't want to think about that.
No, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. There's a place in England called Bitchfield. That's right. Bitchfield is a small village.
That's where all the women go.
No, it's not. It's a small village in South Kesteven, I guess is how it's pronounced, in the district of Lincolnshire. Now, if you remember Lincolnshire a few episodes ago, we're talking about those swearing parrots. That's where they're from. No wonder. It's no surprise to me that the swearing parrots in Lincolnshire are close to a place called Bitchfield in England. It consists of two groups of buildings connected by dark lane known as Bitchfield. Not only that, but Lower Bitchfield. There's Higher Bitchfield and Lower Bitchfield. If you put them all together, it's Bitchfield.
The name Canada comes from the St. Lawrence Iroquois Indians. The word Kanata, with a K, A-N-A-T-A, a Kanata. Okay, which means in Iroquois, it means village. The settlers of Canada heard it as Canada, C-A-N-A-D-A, when actually it was K-A-N-T, as in Tom A, Kanata.
Right.
Not Canada.
Yeah. Akuma Kanata to you, too. India.
Akuma Matata.
Yes. India has the largest postal network in the world with over 100,000 post offices. It has touched the lives of every citizen for 150 years. On average, each post office serves a population of 7,800 people. And the core activity of the department is processing, transmission, and delivery of mail, which is collected from letterboxes, processed by network of mail offices, and conveyed by rail, road, and airlines all over the country. Now, later in the show, speaking of post office, we're going to do it in the sex section. We're going to tell you about playing post office in the sex section. Okay? That's coming up as you're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy.
Nick and Roy will continue with totally useless information. To access the full library of episodes, visit nickandroy.com. That's nickandroy.com.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
And now for something completely useless.
An orchestra tunes itself to the musical note A, which is a very particular frequency, usually 440 hertz, also known as the A440. Now, if you've ever been to a live performance of either an orchestra or a Broadway show of that type, you remember hearing this.
That's A.
That is, exactly. The note is usually played by the oboist or first violinist, and the rest of the orchestra tunes their instruments to match it, the musical note A. The oboe, incidentally, leads the tuning because of all the instruments. It is least affected by humidity or other weather conditions. Conveniently, every string instrument has an A string as opposed to a G string, so it makes sense for string orchestras to tune to the open A string on the first violinist. So there you go. The note A.
Wow. There you go. And I know a lot about music, and I didn't know that.
There you go. It's not completely useless, but if you have any questions you'd like to send our way, and we want to thank everyone who's emailed us, you go to nickandroy.com.
What's in the mailbag? What's in the mail?
So I was going through the mail, and I got this one from Martin from the UK. He writes, Martin from UK, England. Okay, Martin, we understand the UK is England.
It's like you're from the United States of America in the U.S.
Yeah, United States of America, USA.
Right.
Okay. Well, anyway, Martin, thanks for the letter. He says, thanks so much for your show. It's funny and quite informative. So he's very, very English. Okay, he even writes like an Englishman. It's quite informative. What is your history, he said. And I was like, what the hell is he even talking about? But he goes on in the thing, and he wants to know a little bit more about our backgrounds, like what we did in our lives. And so I told him to go on to nickandroy.com, and because he emailed us separately, he didn't go on, I guess, the website, but on nickandroy.com you'll see pictures of us and some brief synopsis stuff on it. But Nick has been involved in radio pretty much his entire life, and he went to college for it. I know that he was when we were friends in high school. He wanted to be in radio. That's what Nick wanted.
That's right.
I got out of high school, went into the restaurant business. My family was in the restaurant business. Then I had a couple of restaurants and some retail stores. So I've been in business pretty much my whole life. I've been involved in music and singing and all kinds of other things. But go to nickandroy.com. And you can find all this stuff out about us.
Including how to email us.
What's in the mail?
As we mentioned, we are all over the globe. We want to welcome listeners who listen to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. We have listeners in Chile, the Russian Federation, and Nigeria.
I can't believe that. Nigeria. That is so cool.
It's really cool.
You know, I mean, there's got to be English-speaking, either expats or English-speaking people in those countries that are looking for really cool content like our show. Not to be too, presumptuous, but,
we're not conceited. We're convinced.
Einstein was a moron. Newton was a jerk. E equals nothing. It's science, science, science.
Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy. Multilingual people unconsciously, this is done through a study, a scientific study, multilingual people unconsciously assign separate personalities to their different languages that they speak. Now, you know that I get mad when people go, when they say the word Latina.
That's right.
When they speak in Spanish and they speak with this completely different accent than what they are. Okay, but that is an unconscious fact that happens in a scientific study. Scientists believe we attach social and cultural mental aspects that we think should be attached to that language. So every time I speak Latin, I just naturally want to make love. See?
Yes.
Now think about that, though. That's crazy, right? So, like, I do it all the time when I say, Liechtenstein!
Yes. Well done. Well done. If you could fold a piece of paper 42 times, its thickness would exceed the distance from here to the moon. So think about it. If you fold a piece of paper once, it'll be 2 pages thick. But when you fold the piece of paper twice on itself, it's not 3 but 4 pages thick. If you fold it a third time, it's 8 pages thick. Paper folding is exponential, so that if you were to fold it a fourth time, it's 16 pages thick. A fifth time will give you 32 pages thick, and so on. 41 foldings will get slightly more than halfway to the moon, so that means 42 foldings is all it takes. The thickness of paper grows exponentially.
I don't believe it. I think it's like that, the licking of the Tootsie Pop.
Yes.
I don't know.
All right.
I think they're just making that. So they're basically implying that it's doubling or tripling or quadrupling.
Right. That's right.
According to scientists, people prone to self-harm can cope with stress better by swearing.
Shut the front door.
But anyway, they found out that these people that curse and swear tend to live longer than people that don't curse and swear. So basically, I'm set to live to like 100. My wife is probably going to live to 125.
Yes.
She has such affectionate names for me, you know?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
you dirty...
Yeah. Yes.
Nick, she likes to call me a bastard, which I think is a French bread.
Yes, it is. And you smear it with mustard.
Mustard, German mustard from Liechtenstein.
That's right. Every time a woodpecker's beak hits a tree, its head is subject to 1,000 times the force of gravity. Think about that. Every time that the woodpecker, his beak hits the tree, its head is subject to 1,000 times the force of gravity.
They can't be very smart animals. I mean, whacking their heads every day like that, and they do it fast too. It's like, brrrr.
Yeah.
You ever have one go on your
Yeah.
your rain gutter?
No, but I've told this story before on the show, but I remember we were in northern Italy a few years ago, and it was a beautiful, quiet morning. You can like literally hear the leaves fall from the tree. That's how quiet it is. And from the distance, I'm hearing tap, 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 tap. And I said to my wife, I said, wow, isn't this kind of cool? Someone is writing a novel out here in the middle of like nowhere, beautiful nature. They're writing this novel. They're at peace with themselves. And she's like, no, you idiot. It's a woodpecker. That's what I was hearing. Tap, 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 tap.
Oh, you thought it was typing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see, most of the time, folks, a story gets more interesting when it's told the second time, but not in this instance. So.
Far from it, yes. Yes. I think my head just took a pounding 1,000 times the force of gravity after hearing that.
Well, GPS is ruining our imaginations.
What?
And I believe this wholeheartedly 100%. Due to the increase of dependence on GPS, people are paying little attention to landmarks, signs, anything like that. Basically, we're just mindlessly driving and just paying attention to staying alive and not crashing into the people in front of us. So we're waiting for the command to tell us when to turn. Now, this is absolutely no lie. My son lives like 2 hours away from me. I still, till this day, cannot tell you what the exit number is. I think it's like 252, but I'm not really sure. I'm not 100% sure because the GPS, I always just hit that friggin' GPS thing, because I think maybe if there's traffic, it's going to tell me, which it probably doesn't know, but I think it does, and I'm hoping it does, but I can't, it's true. So we're losing our imagination because in our minds, in order to keep a map in our head, we see landmarks and buildings and signs and so on, and then we form this map in our head by that, and we're not seeing that anymore. Plus, now women can find places without men, because before that, women, they couldn't read maps. They weren't allowed to. In fact, I don't even know, do they vote?
Yes. They vote on where to go. And they'll tell you where to go.
Send all of your nasty emails marked Nick.
Yes. to nickandroy.com.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy continues. Listen, laugh, and learn.
Do you know what a grabotologist is? A grabotologist.
No, I don't. I mean, it sounds like something you might grab, but no, I guess that's not it.
Well,
no.
It's not someone that goes around grabbing women or experiencing the feeling of thong skin. Nope. It's a person who collects neckties.
Oh.
They are called grabotologists. So if you get anything from the show today, walk around saying, do you know what a grabotologist is? And make believe you're smart.
Yes, just make believe. Men didn't wear underwear until the 17th century. Women didn't.
I'm not wearing them now.
Oh.
In fact, I'm not wearing pants.
Wow. So we should give you a $500 fine or 60 days in jail. Women.
Hey, listen, Nick.
Yes.
I'm going to stop you for 1 second.
Yes.
I thought of another ingenious idea that I'm going to share with the people here.
Okay.
I call it the Zoom suit. What it is literally just a cover in the front of you that looks like you're wearing a jacket, a shirt, and a tie.
Right.
But literally, you could be completely naked. It's more or less like one of those Huggy blankets that you just throw over you while you're on a Zoom call. It makes it look like you're dressed.
Men didn't wear underwear until the 17th century. Women didn't bother wearing underwear until 1800. A former infantry soldier and medic gives a plausible explanation. He writes that when on the field, soldiers sweat a lot and can't take showers for days. Their uniforms are loose enough to allow for ease of movement, so they don't wear underpants in order to prevent skin eruptions and fungal infections.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, that's where the term commando comes from, because apparently it's the soldiers who went without underwear for the very reason we just explained.
Okay, that's a good one, folks. You heard it here. Elizabeth I. I don't have the dates here, but Elizabeth I, Queen Elizabeth I, was so fond of a hat, wearing a hat, that she forced women to wear hats on Sundays in public and on holidays. So, if you didn't wear the hat, the person that gives the fines for the thongs would run up to you. No, really, honestly, it would be a big, big fine. So women wore hats on Sundays and holidays. If you were caught, you got a very heavy, steep fine.
And the wrath of the queen, which you don't want, of course.
Oh, no.
So red heels. Now, who's the designer who came up with the red heels? Red soles?
Louboutin. Not Louis Vuitton.
Right.
Would it be Button?
Button. Okay. Well, in the 1670s, Louis XIV decreed that only members of the royal court were allowed to wear red heels. It was an easy way to distinguish someone of the upper classes from a commoner. So red heels was decreed by the king in the 1670s, Louis XIV. Maybe that's where Louis Vuitton came from. Maybe that's a descendant of Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, Nick. I think you're onto something here. I mean, we're quite the conspiracy theorists, but I thought my grabitologist thing was pretty good. But I gotta hand it to you. You got two really good ones.
Thank you.
That one's a really good one. Louis Vuitton probably knew that and took the name Louis Vuitton because, you know, he knew about the red heel thing.
And he wore
could be, folks. Could be. Somebody
shoes.
Look into this. Get on and shoot us an email.
The way to reach us is go to nickandroy.com, to click on Contact Us. We'll get the email. We will respond. And we want to thank and welcome all those listeners in Windsor, Auburn, Maine, Westchester, Ohio, Wakefield, United Kingdom, and Troy, Michigan. And now it's time for Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy as they present Dreams. Wake up. Wake up. Dreams.
What was that?
It's the Totally Useless Information podcast players. We talk to you about dreams, not only about what you dream and what they might mean, and we talk about dreams in general. So I'll start off with, what if you dream that you're naked? Nudity indicates vulnerability. When you're without your clothes in your dreams, you're most vulnerable. Unless you're in Melbourne, Florida, of course. There's there's nothing that you can hide behind. The dream may parallel a waking situation where you feel helpless, where you have completely let your guard down. Perhaps you're in a relationship where you have opened up yourself at the risk of being rejected.
Yeah, I had a dream I was naked, and in the dream I was asking my wife, honey, where's the credit card? Okay. And then she found it, and I was charged $10.
It was a service charge.
Woo! You have your most vivid dreams during REM sleep. REM sleep, of course, is the sleep where you're most in a catatonic state. During REM sleep, you may dream you are running, so the brain shuts down and paralyzes your muscles, so that you don't run the hell out of bed. Now, if your brain could only paralyze Heidi Klum's muscles so I could catch her in my recurring dream, that would be awesome.
Yes, absolutely. And she's dreaming of you getting arrested.
Actually, Nick, I'm yelling, Heidi, come back here. I have a ticket for you for that thong you're wearing. But go on, go on.
To see a burning candle in your dream signifies that good luck and hope will be coming your way in small and steady amounts. You are in a very comfortable stage in your life and may be seeking spiritual enlightenment. Lit candles in your dream are also symbolic of intellect, enlightenment, awareness, or search for the truth.
Yeah, because you're putting light on stuff. You know, this is a cool one. It's a quickie, too. Most people dream in color. but only 12% of people dream in black and white. Those are the same people that are real snobby and probably dream in subtitles as well.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I only watch foreign films.
Yes. The following dream is closed captioned for the intelligent impaired. If you're dreaming that you see your car battery, it symbolizes your stamina. To dream that your car battery is dead suggests that you're overwhelmed and overworked, which is probably why you need a Viagra. You need to slow down.
I was going to say.
Yes. So to recap, to see that if you're dreaming of a car battery, it symbolizes your stamina. But to dream that your car battery is dead suggests that you're overwhelmed and overworked. You need to slow down and set some time for yourself, or else run the risk of collapsing from exhaustion. Which reminds me of a dream I had. I dreamt the other night I was a muffler, and in the morning I woke up exhausted.
Folks laugh. He'll stop.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, let's talk about nocturnal penal tumescence. I'll say that again simply because it's hard for me to read. Sometimes called the old morning wood. In fact, men have 3 to 5 erections every night while they're sleeping. And it has nothing to do with sexual dreams. Or at least I hope my wife believes that.
Yes.
No, really, honestly, it has nothing to do with sex or dreaming sexual things. You just normally, as a biological function, I believe that some of it has to do with not urinating while you're sleeping and so on and so forth. But you have 3 to 5 erections, and it's called nocturnal penal tumescence.
So you might be pitching a tent in the morning. Is that what you're saying? It has nothing to do with sex.
Sure. It's fun. It's like camping. Yes. Got the Viagra. It's like a cabin tent.
And since you're dreaming of candles, you can light a candle in the tent.
There you go.
If you're dreaming that you're wearing dentures, it indicates that you're not being completely truthful in some waking matter. To see or dream that others are wearing dentures suggests that someone in your life is not who they say they are. They are being deceitful.
People who sleep face down are more likely to dream about sex. Also, they're more likely to dream about being locked up, naked, smothered, or swimming. Actually, it just sounds like a sex dream to me.
Yes, it does.
That's a sex dream to me, being smothered, locked up, handcuffed, thrown in a pool.
Yes. What's wrong with that?
With the whole cast of the swimsuit model edition.
And they're all wearing thongs. They're all get thrown in jail for 6 months. You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
You're listening to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy. Listen, laugh, and learn.
On our website, nickandroy.com, you have opportunities to send your loved one a birthday message and now brand new anniversary messages.
People are flipping out. And by the way, it's the people that forced us into doing the anniversary message. We had so many requests for anniversary messages. Could you do an anniversary message? Could you do it just like the birthday? Folks, if you don't know what we're talking about, go to nickandroy.com, click on birthday message. You are going to see it's a mini show that we do with all totally useless information for your loved ones, and they are going to flip out. They are going to, I'm telling you, they send it to everybody. We get comments from people, friends of theirs, that, oh my God, how do I get one of these? How do I do, So nickandroy.com, go on birthday messages. It is the greatest gift of all time, and it's inexpensive.
Exactly. Website is nickandroy.com.
Innovation, ideas. The Totally Useless Information Podcast presents Inventions.
We all love pizza. Don't you love pizza?
I really love pizza.
So you order a pizza, it comes to the door in this cardboard box, and you see that little plastic thing in the middle that looks like a table.
Yes.
Someone invented it. It's a pizza saver. Carmela Vitale from Dix Hills, New York invented it in 1983. In her patent, she detailed it as a package saver, which is a tiny little tripod, as we said, looks like a little table. It would be placed in the middle of the pie to maintain the structural integrity of the box. So thank you, Carmela Vitale.
Brilliant. In 1893, Margaret A. Wilcox invented an early car heater. Then she went on to invent a washing machine that does both clothes and dishes. It could do both, clothes and dishes. If she hung them out in front of the car heater, she probably would have invented the clothes dryer, but she didn't do that. But can you imagine in 1893, she invented a car heater, which, I mean, there were very few cars around. Then she invents both the clothes washer and dishwasher in one unit, which is amazing.
So what I would do is I would take the clothes and put them in the car in front of the heater to, kill two birds with one stone.
Then she invented the clothes dryer.
Oh, good for her. A snow globe. We love the snow globes. Aren't they beautiful?
Oh, yes.
Irwin Persey was a surgical instrument maker, and he was trying to produce a bright light for a surgical lamp with water-filled flasks to increase the intensity of the light. He was using particles in the water to increase the reflectivity of it, and it occurred to him that it looked like snow. So he created his first snow globe and received the first patent for the snow globe, and together with his brother, opened up a shop in Vienna, and this family-owned company still produces the globes to this day, and the material that the company uses for snow in those globes is still a closely guarded secret.
My wife collects one every single Christmas. Usually I think it's either the Red Cross or Children's Cancer Society or something, and she gets one every single year, and we have a great collection. Nikola Tesla. Okay, this guy was an odd bird. Remember I said odd bird?
Yes.
He hated pearls so much that he wouldn't date a woman who wore them.
Oh, really?
And he fired a woman who wore them to work. But the most interesting fact is that Nikola Tesla fell in love with a pigeon. The man who invented electricity, light bulbs, generators, this genius of a man, fell in love with a New York pigeon. So he wasn't into women as much, I guess, as he was into chicks. He was an odd bird.
Trying to woo her or coo her?
He tried to coo her over.
So when you make some toast and you want to butter it, and it's just a pain because the butter smears all over it and then it rips the bread apart. But lo and behold, the butter crayon was born. The butter crayon, that's right. A butter crayon was created by Don Schrenard, who worked at Microsoft and HP as a consultant. The invention was was actually devised out of necessity. He wanted to help his family butter their toast properly. The butter crayon is a hollow silicone tube that dispenses butter, kind of like a lipstick. Instead of spreading butter with a knife, the butter crayon users can use a stick of butter inside the tube, gradually dispense it from the opposite side by pushing it out of the other side onto the toast or the pan for easy use.
Disgusting, though, when you think about it. Rubbing the butter all over the crusty bread that's been toasted and then back in the fridge. That's disgusting.
You're listening. So, as you've listened to Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy, we talked about science, we traveled the globe, we talked about sex, and of course, dreams. It's time for the news.
And now, from around the corner and around the world, this is TUI News.
We have two stories today. Police in Brighton, Ontario, which is just east of us here in Toronto, which is where I am. They said they were originally called to a home after neighbors heard what they believed to be a domestic dispute. Ontario Provincial Police Constable Steve Bates said the neighbors knew the home was usually occupied by a couple, But police found only one person when they arrived. They heard him yelling and saying, "I hope you die," and all kinds of things and so on. So when cops arrived, they located the male of the household alone in the house, screaming at his pet parrot, who apparently was swearing at him. Okay? And he was having a fight with his parrot. This is how bad it got. They thought it was a domestic dispute. "I hope you die." The man had been drinking, oh, surprise, surprise, adding that the parrot did not appear to be hurt in any way. They always escape, those parrots.
Yeah, the cop gave him a ticket for having a nasty beak.
I'm going to wash your beak out with soap. And our second story comes to us across in Europe. An elementary school in France had to ban late arriving parents from hurling their kids over the closed gate.
What?
So some tardy moms and dads would literally throw their children over the 6-foot fence outside the Trilade school in Avignon, according to the principal. It hasn't happened that many times, but as little as it happened, we preferred to get ahead of it. So they put up a big sign, "Do not throw your kids over the fence." "I do not throw my kids over the gate," says one parent. The sign includes instructions to parents to please arrive before 8:30 a.m. and back at 10 or 3 p.m. when the gates are reopened. But if the gates are closed, do not hurl your kids over the fence.
So let's get this straight now. The parents are hurling them over the fence into the school.
That's correct, because they're late.
Right. So, see, I had, being from New York and Italian, a lot of family members that were in prison that did it the opposite way. He threw them over the gate into freedom.
So if you have a news item you'd like for us to explore here on Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy, simply go to our website, Don't bother. Yeah, we're busy. Go to nickandroy.com. I'll tell you why we're busy. That's all the time we have for this week's episode. We're going to be busy scouring the internet far and wide to find more totally useless information for you guys next week.
You go to nickandroy.com, nickandroy.com. Leave us a message, leave us some email. You'll be on the show. Tell a friend about the trend by sharing and subscribing.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Roy.
Thanks for listening.
Totally Useless Information with Nick and Roy is a production of nickandroy.com. To access the full library of episodes, visit nickandroy.com or wherever you get your podcasts.